Welcome back to Brogue. I'm going to do one more episode tonight. And we are still here.
125. The monkey is wandering through a puddle of urine.
The
4
monkey and
11
the
right.
conjurer.
It is the drowned. The drowned.
Don't
The
know.
drowned. A stone wall. The drowned.
Ooh,
A stone wall.
good
It
is
is
if I
a
could
chasm.
make
It is a stone wall. The drowned.
Let's see. One over here.
You see a goblin conjurer. You see a monkey. The monkey is wandering through a puddle of urine. 3 up. 10 right. Path is visible.
He's not going to wander far, is he?
The goblin conjurer
All I
is sleeping
want
on
him
the
to
ground.
do
3 up. 11 right.
is give
Path
me
is
a
visible.
shot
Resting.
at that
The monkey is
conjurer
wandering
at
through a
this
puddle of
point.
urine. 3 up. 9 right. Path is visible.
Maybe it'd be better.
It is you. The drowned. A stone wall. The drowned. A stone wall. A stone wall. The drowned. The drowned. A stone wall. A stone wall. A stone wall. A stone wall. The drowned.
Tile
A stone
wide
wall. A stone. The drowned.
corridor
A stone
there.
wall. The drowned.
One.
Blank. Blank. Remember the drowned
There
was
could be
a puddle of
more
urine.
goblins
The monkey is
there.
wandering a puddle of urine. Remember the puddle of. Remember the drowned was here. A puddle of. The goblin conjurer is blank.
Still don't have a free shot. Let's. Now we don't
It is
see
the
him.
drowned. The drowned. A stone wall. A
Why
stone.
don't
A
we
stone
see
wall.
him? What if I-
You see a goblin conjurer. You see a monkey. The monkey is wandering through a puddle of urine. 3 up. 7 right. Path is visible. It is the drowned. The monkey is wandering across the drowned. 2 up. 7 right. Path. It is a stone wall. The drowned.
Go down to the southeast.
The monkey is charging through a puddle of urine. 3 up. 5 right. The goblin conjurer is sleeping on the ground.
still
3 up.
sleeping.
7 right. Path is
But
visible.
if they're allies, I swear I read that he will wake up. Maybe not.
You see a jackal. The monkey is charging across the ground. 5 right. Path. The goblin conjurer is sleeping on the ground. 3 up. 12 right.
Didn't wake
Path
him
is
up.
visible. The jackal is wandering across the
he?
ground. 3 up. 13 right. Path is visible.
Oh. So he's another little pet of that goblin,
It
huh?
is the brink of a chasm. A chasm. The drowned. The brink of a chasm. It is a chasm. It's the drowned. The monkey is charging across the ground. 3 up. 3 right. Path is visible.
Alright. Let him come to us, I guess.
It is the brink of a chasm.
We'll go down.
The monkey is
just
charging
'cause I
across the
want
ground.
to
3 up.
really
3 right.
separate
Path
him
a wooden
from
door. 2 down. 4 right.
the goblin.
Path is visible. Resting. The monkey is charging across the ground.
Okay, as
2
soon
up.
as he
2
steals-
right. A
Whoa.
wooden door. 2 down. 4
Why
right.
did he only-
Resting. The monkey is charging across the brink of a chasm. 1 up. 1 right. Path is visible.
Okay, so if he steals something and starts running, we will use blades. If that staff is out of charges, I will use beckoning.
You hit the monkey. You hit the monkey. You hit the monkey. The monkey bites you.
some.
The monkey stole a guardian charm. The jackal is wandering across the ground. 3 up. 3 right.
coming to
The monkey is
investigate.
standing on the brink of a chasm. 1 up. You defeated the monkey. The jackal missed you. A wooden door. And lust you hit you. Help. The
Whoa.
jackal is standing in a pool of blood. The jackal is standing on the brink of a chasm. 1 up. Path is bit. You hit the jack. You hit the defeated. The jackal is. You hit the jack. You defeated a wooden door. 3 down. It is the brink of the drowned. A stone.
gonna go
A stone.
back
A
up
stone
here
wall.
to
The drowned. Remember the drowned was.
northeast.
You see a goblin conjurer. The goblin conjurer is sleeping on the ground. 4 up.
He is.
12 right. It is the brink. The drowned. It is the drowned.
Just trying
It
to
is
do
you.
this
A stone wall. You see a goblin conjurer. The stone wall is firm.
carefully.
The stone wall is firm. The goblin conjurer is sleeping on the ground. 3 up. 7 right. Path is visible.
If he wakes up, I'll instantly cast Conjuration.
The goblin conjurer is sleeping on the ground. 1 up. 5 right. Path. It is you. The drowned.
But-
The drowned. A stone wall.
I think.
You see a goblin. The
Nope.
goblin conjurer is standing on the ground. 4 right. Path. The goblin is wandering across the ground. 1 up. 18 right. Path is 120.
Okay.
Inventory. Good magic. A scroll of enchant. Evil magic. A staff of key. Good magic. A staff of discord. Class.
Ooh.
Good magic. A staff of conjuration.
Who knows
Class
if
slash.
any of those-
Apply. Drop. Throw.
Allies that I can rescue will survive after
Good
this
good
long.
magic. A staff of conjuration. The goblin conjurer is. You see a goblin. It is the puddle. Your spectral. The drowned. The drowned.
Where did he go?
The drowned. The drowned. A stone wall. The drowned. Your spectral blade is the drowned. A stone wall. Remember the drowned was here. The goblin conjurer is fleeing across the drowned. 1 down. 5
course
right.
he's
Path is
fleeing.
visible. It is you. The drowned. The
You know
drowned.
what?
Your spectral blade did something. Your 125 gold pieces are lying in a puddle. 125 gold pieces are lying in it. The drowned. A stone blank.
Maybe I shouldn't have went away.
125 gold pieces are lying in a puddle of urine. 3 up. 6 right. Path is visible. You hear something gets destroyed in combat. Your spectral blade destroyed something. You hear something gets destroyed in combat. You hear something gets destroyed in combat. something gets destroyed in combat. You hear something gets destroyed in combat. You hear something gets destroyed in combat. You see a spectral blade. You see a goblin conjurer. It is you. The goblin conjurer is standing on the ground. 6 right. Pass it. It is the ground. The goblin conjurer is standing on the Good magic, a staff of this. Good magic, a +3 teleportation. Good magic, a 1 dot beckoning. Apply, drop, the ground. The goblin conjurer is standing on the ground. 6 right. Path is open.
Get over here!
Spectral blade destroyed your spectral blade. It's the goblin. You hit the goblin conjurer. It's a pool of blood. The ground. A puddle of you. It is you.
Now he's
the ground. A stone wall. A pool of blood. Your spectral blade. The goblin conjurer is charging over 125 gold pieces. The goblin conjurer is fleeing across the ground. 1 down, 2 right. Path is visible. It is a pool of the goblin conjurer. The ground. 100 and the spectral blade hits you. Your spectral blade destroyed the spectral blade. You see a goblin. The goblin conjurer is fleeing through a pool of blood. 1 down, 2 right. It is your spectral. A pool of blood. You see a goblin. The goblin conjurer is fleeing through a pool of blood. 1 down, 2 right. Path is visible.
Oh, he's beckoning again? Seems kind of wasteful, but
please grab some food. No, good.
I'm gonna do it. Sick of him running from me.
A staff of good magic, a 1 dot mechanic direct. The goblin conjurer is bleeding through a pool of blood. 1 down, 2 right. No open path.
Oh, no open path.
It is you, under light. Health 80%, a pool of blood. Your spectral blade is light. The goblin conjurer is fleeing through a pool. Your spectral blade defeated the goblin conjurer. You see a goblin.
He dropped something.
Your spectral blade is hovering over a pool of blood. A potion of detect magic is light. You now have a potion of detect magic.
Nice.
You see a goblin. The goblin is charging across the ground. 2 down, 6 right. The goblin is wandering across the ground. 2 up, 10 right. Path is visible. You see a goblin. The goblin is charging across the ground. 2 up, 10 right. Your spectral blade hits the goblin. It is a pool of blood. The goblin missed your spectral blade. Your spectral blade hits the goblin is standing in a pool of blood. 1 down, 6 right. Pass it. The goblin missed your spectral blade. It's a stone wall. The goblin missed your spectral blade. Your spectral blade hits the goblin. You see a goblin. The goblin is standing in a pool of blood. 1 down, 4 right. Pass. The goblin is standing on the ground. 2 up, 9 right. Path is visible. The goblin is wandering across. It is you, under light. Health 82%. The ground.
2 up,
the goblin is a stone wall. The dot blank. The ground blank. A stone wall.
So he's just gonna stand there?
The goblin destroyed your spectral blade. Resting. You see a goblin. The goblin is charging across the ground. 2 right. Pass it. Rested. You defeated. The goblin is standing on the ground. 2 up. 9 right. The goblin is wandering through filthy hay. 2 down. 9 right. Path is visible.
That
it is a pool of the stone. Remember a stone. The ground. You see an arrow turret. The arrow turret is embedded in a stone wall. 4 up, 7 right.
So
Path is visible. It is you, the ground. A pool of blood. It is you, a stone wall. The ground. A pool of blood. The ground. It is the ground, a stone wall, the ground, a stone wall, the ground, a stone wall. Remember a stone wall. What? The arrow turret is the goblin is standing on the ground. 2 up, 8 right. Path it. The goblin is wandering across the ground. 4 down, 13 right. Path is with 125 gold pieces are lying in a pool of blood.
Wow.
2 up, 9 left. Path is visible. You found 120. The goblin is wandering across the ground. 4 down, 12 right. The goblin is wandering across the ground. 4 down, 12 right. Path it. Exploring. You see a goblin. Missed it. You see a goblin. You see a goblin. The goblin is standing on the ground. 1 up, 12 right. The goblin is wandering across the ground. 4 down, 15. The goblin is wandering across the ground. 5 down, 17 right. Path. The goblin mystic is standing on the ground. 5 down, 18 right. Path is visible. The goblin is standing on the ground. 1 up, 12 right. Path. It is you. The ground. A stone wall. A stone wall. The ground. It is you. A stone. A pool of blood.
Sorry, I'm taking a while.
The goblin is standing on the ground. 1 up, 10 right. It is a stone wall. The ground. It is a stone wall. The ground. 171 gold pieces are lying on the ground. 9 down, 2 right. Path is a paralysis trigger. 23 down, 5, 107. You see a goblin. The goblin is standing on the ground. 1 up, 7 right. The goblin is wandering. 100 and you see an arrow turret. The arrow turret is embedded in a stone wall. 4 up, 5 right. Path is with 170. The arrow turret is embedded in a stone wall. 4 up, 5 right. Passive 170. The arrow turret. You see a goblin. You see a goblin. You see a. You hit. You hit. The goblin is standing on the ground. 2 down. 1 right. The goblin is standing on the ground. 2 down. 2 left. Passive spit. The goblin totem is resting in filthy hay. 2 down. 2 right. Pass.
I walked right in there, didn't I?
Remember a stone wall. The ground. It is you. Under light. Help. The ground.
Wow.
The ground. The ground. The ground.
As bold as you please.
The goblin is standing on the ground. 2 down. 1 right. Passive. It is you. A stone wall. Remember a stone wall. The ground. The goblin is standing on the ground. A stone wall. The ground. It is you. Under a stone wall. The ground.
This is a
the goblin is a stone wall. The ground.
Set up here.
The goblin missed you. You see a goblin. The goblin is standing on the ground. 1 down. 1 left. You hit the. You hit the. You hit the. You defeated the. The goblin mystic is charging through a pool of blood. 2 down. 1 left. Passive spit. You see a goblin. You see a goblin. The goblin mystic is bleeding across the ground. 2 down. Passive visible. It is the pool of the goblin mystic. The ground. In 3.
The blades.
Good magic, a scroll entitled
Kill
Good
that
Evil Match. Good magic, a staff of discord. The goblin mystic is bleeding across the ground.
If it has
2
any
down.
charges
Pass is
or not.
open.
We'll find out. Oops, I hope I wasn't quiet there. Let me adjust this microphone here. Oh, cool, it had
It is
charges.
a pool of the ground. The goblin mystic is
Where's the-
a pool of blood. It is you. The ground. A stone wall. A pool of blood.
Wait, right?
The goblin mystic is bleeding across the ground. 3 down. The goblin mystic
What did
is
I
bleeding
just
through
do?
filthy hay. 2 down. 2 right. Pass is with
think
inventory. Good
I don't know
magic,
what
a
I
scroll
just
of
did.
evil. Good magic, a staff of conjuration. Class down. The goblin mystic is bleeding through filthy hay. 2 down. 2 right. Path is open. Your staff of conjuration is. The goblin is standing
Right.
in a puddle of urine. 2 up. 12 left. 171 gold pieces. The goblin is standing in a puddle of urine. 2 up. 12 left. Path is. You see a goblin mystic. You see a goblin. The goblin is standing in a pool of blood. 1 down. 4 right. Path. The goblin mystic is bleeding through a pool of blood. 2 down. 5 right. Path is visible.
Okay.
Inventory.
Got the solution for this problem, and it's
Evil magic, a
Discord.
staff of healing. Good magic, a staff of direct. The goblin is standing in a pool of
Should
blood.
be able to get
1
him
down.
to
4
attack
right.
his-
Path is open.
Buddy.
You see a goblin. The goblin is charging through a pool of blood. 2 down. 5 right. Path. The goblin mystic is bleeding through filthy hay. 2 down. 6 right. Path. The goblin is wandering across the ground. 3 down. 10 right. Path is with 171 gold. Resting. You see a goblin. The goblin is charging across the
Not
ground.
work.
2 down. 7 right. It is the ground. It is you.
This
the
is
ground.
odd.
A pool of the ground. A pool of blood.
There's a
pool
lot of
blood.
goblins. It's tempting to just huck
The
something
goblin
in
is
there.
charging across the ground. 2 down. 7 right. Path is visible. Something missed the goblin. The goblin defeated something. Resting.
Something got dropped.
The goblin is standing on the ground. 2 down. 7 right.
I heard
171
something get
gold
dropped.
pieces are lying on the ground. 6 down. 1 left. Path is visible. You see a goblin. 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 You see a goblin totem. The goblin is charging
This is
over a scroll
crazy.
entitled Herbivores. 1 down. 7 right. Path is visible. It is you. The ground. It is the ground. A stone wall. The ground. The ground. Filthy hay. Filthy hay. Filthy hay.
This is a
Filthy hay.
weird-
The
it's
ground.
not exactly
The goblin is
room like
wandering
it.
blank. The goblin. A pool of blood.
Seen
The
it.
goblin is charging over a scroll entitled Herbivores. In 3.
Try the other scroll of
Good
Discord.
magic, a scroll entitled Good magic,
On the
a scroll of
wandering one?
enchanting evil. Good magic, a staff of disc. Good magic, a staff of disc. Direction. The goblin is charging. The goblin is wandering across the ground. 2 down.
Get him?
7 right. No open path. The goblin is charging over a scroll entitled Herbivores. 1 down. 7 right. Path is open. The goblin stands. The goblin.
There
The
we
goblin
go.
stands. The goblin. You see a pink jelly. You see a goblin mystic.
Oh
The goblin
no.
mystic is charging through filthy hay. 1 up. 4 right. Path is. The goblin is standing out. The goblin is standing in a pool of blood. 2. The pink jelly is wandering across the ground. 2 down. 8 right. Path. The goblin is wandering. The goblin totem is resting on the ground. 1 down. 10 right. Path is visible. It is the ground. A pool of blood. The ground. Remember a stone wall was the pool of blood. The goblin skewers the pink jelly. The pink jelly splits in 2.
Oh, no.
The goblin missed the goblin. The pink jelly drenches the goblin. You see a goblin. The goblin is wandering
no.
across the ground. 3 up. 14 left. Path is 171
This is
gold pieces are lying
crazy.
on the ground. 6 down. 2 left. Path is visible. It is the ground. You hear combat in the distance. You see a goblin. You see a goblin. The goblin missed the pink jelly. The pink jelly missed the goblin. The goblin defeated the goblin. The goblin mystic is charging across the ground. 3 right. Path is visible.
This is nuts.
The goblin is charging across the ground. 4 right. Path. The goblin is charging through filthy hay. 1 up. 5 right. The pink jelly is standing in a pool of blood. 1 up. 9 right. The pink jelly is standing over a scroll entitled Herbivores. 1 up. 10 right. The goblin is wandering across the ground. 1 up. 11 right. It is the ground. The ground. A stone wall. A stone. Remember a stone wall. A stone wall. The ground. A pool of blood. A pool of blood. A stone. The ground.
There's narrow
Remember the ground.
areas.
Remember the pool of blood was here.
Anywhere.
Remember the blank. Remember a stone wall was it. Remember a stone wall. Remember the ground. Remember the pool of blood was. Remember the ground was. Remember the pool of blood was. Remember the ground
Oh yeah,
was
this
here.
is that. Oh,
It is the ground. The brink, a chasm. The brink of a stone wall. The brink, a chasm. The ground. 171 gold. A stone wall. The ground. A stone wall. The ground. It is the ground. The brink of a chasm. The brink, a chasm. Remember a chasm. The brink, the ground. The brink, a chasm. A stone wall. A chasm. The brink of a chasm. The ground. A stone wall. The ground. The brink,
but I
a
can
chasm.
still be surrounded on
The
three
brink of a
sides
chasm.
right
The ground.
there.
The ground. The goblin mystic is charging across the ground. Free right. Path is visible. Inventory. A staff of discord. Apply. The ground. The goblin mystic is. The goblin staff. The goblin mystic. The goblin mystic.
Wow.
It is the ground. The goblin mystic. You see a goblin resting. The goblin is charging across the ground. 3 right. The goblin is standing in filthy hay. 1 up. 5 right. The goblin mystic is fleeing across the ground. 2 up. 5 right. The pink jelly is wandering through a pool of blood. 1 up. 7 right. The goblin mystic. The goblin mystic. The goblin mystic. The goblin mystic. The pink jelly smears the goblin mystic. Resting. The goblin mystic missed the pink jelly. The pink jelly missed it. The goblin is you missed the goblin. The goblin missed you. The goblin is wandering across the goblin. You missed the goblin. The goblin missed you. The goblin is charging through a pool of blood. 4 up. Pass it. The pink jelly is charging through filthy hay. 1 up. 6 right. Pass it. The goblin is the ground. The goblin is a pool of blood. The ground. 171 gold pieces are lying on the. You found it is you. Health 44. A stone wall. It is you. The brink of a chasm.
What if? How does this guardian charm work?
It is the goblin is charging. It is you. You hit the goblin. The goblin missed you. It is the brink of a chasm. The pink jelly is charged. The goblin is stabbed. It is you. A chasm.
I wish.
Inventory is wearing some food. Apply. Drop. Throw. No magic. Good magic. A flame. Required strength.
Sorry, I'm
magic.
being
A
so,
thorax. Required strength 90.
I'm just
It
trying to.
drop. Throw.
I'm just thinking here. Actually, 1 second. Let me readjust this microphone here. Alright. So,
Good magic. A flail. Required
let's
inventory.
try.
You hit the goblin. You defeated the goblin.
Okay.
The pink jelly slimes you. 40. It is the goblin. The pink jelly is
Yep.
The goblin is charging through a
We
pool
gotta
of
get
blood.
out of here.
Inventory.
Gotta get out of here.
Last good magic. A +2 guardian charm ready. Good magic. A +3 teleportation charm ready. You see a goblin. The goblin is wandering through withered fungus. 8 down. 3 right. The goblin is wandering through withered fungus. 11 down. 3 right. The Dark Blade Master is shackled in place in a pile of
Ooh.
bones. 2 up. 19 right. Path is visible. You see an acid mound. The acid mound is sleeping in grass-like fungus. 9 down. 23 right. No wizard. A wooden door. A paralysis tree. A wooden door. The Dark Blade Master is shackled in place in a pile of bones. 1 up.
Having
5
these
right.
guys
Path.
would-
You see a goblin.
Definitely help my
The goblin is
chances.
wandering across the brink of a chasm. 15 down. 1
Okay.
right. Path is. The goblin is wandering. The acid
get
mound is
these.
sleeping in a wooden door. A paralysis tree. A wooden door. The Dark Blade Master is free the captive Dark Blade Master.
Yes.
Yes. No. Free the
Yes.
grateful Dark Blade Master and pay the faithful ally.
Wonder how his health is.
Your Dark Blade
You
Master.
know what?
inventory.
Just for the fun of it, I'll hit him with.
Good magic, a staff of discord. Apply. Good
Healing.
magic, good magic, a staff of
Where is
discord.
it?
Evil magic, a
There
staff.
it is.
Direct. Your Dark Blade Master
might-
is
he
following
probably
you through a
doesn't
pile
need
of
it, but
bones.
if- just
One
in
right.
case he
Path
does.
is- Your Dark Blade Master looks healthier. Your
Just
Dark
in
Blade
case
Master
he
is
does.
standing in a pile of bones. What? The goblin
Where's
is
the other
wandering,
one?
exploring. You see a pink jelly. You see an acid mound. Your Dark Blade Master is following you across an iron manacle. 1 down, 3 right. Path. The pink jelly is
cool.
wandering through a pool of blood. 1 up, 10 left. Path is visible. The goblin is wandering across
Okay,
it is
can
an
you
iron
find a
manacle.
place
A stone wall.
that
It
I
is you. A chasm.
choose
A pile of an iron manacle.
to deal with
a stone wall. A stone wall.
a pink jelly?
It is you. An iron manacle. A stone wall. A pile of a chasm. A pile of bones.
Perfect.
Your doglet, the pink jelly is wandering across the ground. 9 left. Path is visible.
Perfect.
It is you, an iron manacle, a chasm. A stone wall.
Perfect. But
It is
how's
you,
health?
health 44%. Unidentifiable bones, yellowed with age, litter the ground.
Okay.
Resting. Your doglet, the pink jelly is wandering through a pool of blood. 1 down, 11 left. Path is visible. Resting. You see, your doglet master, the pink jelly is wandering across the brink of a chasm. 1 up, 10 left. It is a pool, the drown, a stone wall, a stone wall, the drown, a puddle of, you see a pink jelly. It is a stone wall, it is the drowned. The pink jelly is charging across it is the drowned. Your doglet, a pool of blood. Resting. You hit the pink jelly. It's your doglet master is you hit the pink. You defeated the pink jelly. It's the pink jelly is charging through
I'll
the pool
swap
of purple
places
blood.
with this Blade Master. He can have a turn.
Your doglet master defeated the pink jelly.
Yeah. I'll swap again.
The pink jelly missed. You defeated the pink jelly.
Swap.
Your doglet master defeated the pink jelly.
Swap.
It is a pool of purple, the drowned.
There's no more?
Your doglet master is standing on the ground. 1 right. An elf on the D. The doglet master leaps towards his enemies with frightening speed to engage in deadly swordplay. Your doglet master has 83% chance to hit you. Typically hits for 31% of your current health, and at worst, could defeat you in 3 hits. Your doglet master is your ally.
So in other
Your
words,
doglet
it's a
master
good thing he's
handling
our
and
friend.
avoids attacking in corridors in a broom. Exploring, you see a toad. Your doglet master is following
Let
you
him
through a
deal
pool
with
of
the
purple
toad.
blood. 3 right. Path it. The toad is wandering
won't
through grass like
hallucinate.
fungus. 7 down. 11 left. Path is visible.
Is that the way we're gonna go?
Exploring, you see a toad. Exploring, you see a monkey. You see a monkey. Your doglet master. The monkey is wandering across the ground. 2 up. 6 right. Path is visible. The monkey is wandering across the ground. 3 up. 8 right. The toad is wandering across the ground. 5 down. 7 left. Path is
Discord on one of these monkeys.
Good magic, a scroll and good magic, a staff of discord. Class direct. The monkey is wandering across the ground. 2 up. 6 right. Path is open. The monkey punches the monkey.
There we go.
Your doglet master is following you across the ground. 3 down. Path is visible. The monkey is charging. The toad is wandering across the brink of a chasm. 4 down. 7 left.
Oh, so
Path
he's
is
already
it is
gonna go.
a chasm. The ground. It is the brink of a chasm. A chasm. Your doglet master is following. The monkey is charging through a pool of blood. 3 up. 7 right. Path is visible. It is you. The brink.
3 up, 7
the
right.
Remember a stone. Remember the drown. A stone walk. The drown. The monkey punches the monkey. The monkey punches the monkey. The monkey punches the monkey. The monkey tweaks the monkey. The monkey
I was just going back to the mouth of the
monkey. The monkey is the monkey. The monkey bites the monkey. The monkey punches the monkey. The monkey defeated the monkey. You hear combat in the distance.
Ooh, the Blade Master is taking
The
care
monkey
of
is
that
standing in a
toad.
pool of blood. 1 up. 3 right. Path. It is the drowned. The drowned. A stone wall. It is the drowned. It is the drowned. The drowned. The drowned. You hear something die in combat.
Good.
The monkey is charging across the drowned. 3 right. The drowned. The brink of a chasm. The monkey is charging across the drowned.
Where'd the
3 right.
Blade
Path is
Master
visible.
go?
The monkey is charged in with 3.
Let's use.
Good magic, a scroll of good magic, a staff of conjuration. And the monkey is your staff of conjuration fizzles. It must be out of charges for now.
That's not
It
good.
is the drowned. The monkey is charging across the drowned. It is the brink of a chasm. The brink of a chasm. The drowned.
Where'd that Blade Master go?
The monkey is charging across the drowned. 1 right. Pass it. You missed the monkey. The monkey
Oh.
missed you. You defeated the monkey. Your
Okay.
doglet master is following you through grass like fungus. 8 down. 3 left. Path it is you. Health 52%. Chilly winds blow upward from your doglet master is following you.
Go to
Your
where he
doglet
is.
master exploring you see a pink jelly. Your
Another
doglet
one.
master is following you through grass like fungus. 4 down. 2 left. The pink jelly is wandering through withered fungus. 7 down. 5 left. It is you. A stone
so
wall.
he's
A
just-
pool of the drowned. A pool of blood.
Go
Remember a
towards
stone
him.
wall. Remember a stone. It is you. Health. The brink of a chasm. A chasm. A chasm. Remember a chasm. Remember a chasm. Remember a chasm. Remember a pool of.
I don't
Remember a
know.
pool of blood was. Remember a pool of green. Remember a pool of. Remember the brink of. Your doglet master is following you through grass like fungus. 4 down. 2. Your doglet master is following you through withered fungus. 2 down. 5 left. The pink jelly is wandering through grass like fungus. 4 down. 8 left. It is grass, withered, the drowned.
This isn't a good place to do this.
The pink grass like fungus. Remember a stone wall was here. It is you. Health 58%. Grass like fungus crunches underfoot. Exploring. You see a goblin.
Oh, we got away
Your
from
doglet
it.
master is following you across the drowned. 2 down.
Awesome.
6 left. The goblin is wandering across the drowned. 1 up. 14 right. Path. It is the
Are we
drowned.
back
A
to
pool of
this
the
again?
A stone wall. A stone wall. The drowned. The drowned. A stone wall.
I think so.
You see a goblin. Your Dark Master is following you across the ground. 6 left. Path is visible. Resting. Your Dark Master is standing
Just
in a
trying to
pool
get
of
him to
blood.
get back
2 left.
closer to me.
The ground. Your Dark Master. The Goblin is wandering across the ground. 1 up. 10 right. The ground. Your Dark Master is following you across. Your Dark Master is following. Your Dark Master is following. The stone wall is firm. You see a goblin. Your Dark Master. The goblin is wandering across the ground.
Okay.
1 up.
Just trying to be
It is
sneaky.
the ground. A stone wall. The ground. Your Dark Master. The ground. It is you. Health 70%. Your Dark Master. The goblin is wandering across the ground. 1 up. 3 right. The goblin is charging across the ground. 3 down. 2 right. Your Dark Master is following you through a pool of blood. 2 down. 1 right. Your Dark Master grazes the goblin. The goblin missed your Dark Master.
Grazes the goblin?
Your Dark Master is standing in a pool
What
of
kind
blood.
of blade
2.
master
The goblin is standing in a
grazes
pool
the
of blood.
goblin?
3 down. 1. The
Where'd
goblin
the
is
other one
wandering
go?
across the ground. 1 up. 3 right. It is the ground. Your Dark Master cuts the goblin. The goblin missed your Dark Master. You see a goblin totem. The goblin is wandering through a pool of blood. 1 up. 2 right. Path is busy. Your Dark Master defeated the goblin. The goblin totem shoots a spark. The spark hits you. You see a goblin. You see a goblin totem. The goblin is wandering across the ground. 1 down. Path is busy. You catch the goblin, catching it unaware. The goblin totem is resting in filthy hay. 2 down. 3 right. Path is visible. You see a goblin conjurer. The goblin is charging over a scroll entitled Purpose. 5 down, 5 right.
I'm gonna
Path is
succeed
visible.
in this venture.
The goblin is charging across the ground. 5 down, 6 right. The goblin is wandering. The goblin is charging. The goblin totem is resting on the ground. 5 down, 8 right.
Oh, there's
the goblin is wandering
multiple
across the ground.
totems.
7 down, 18 right. Path is
Jeez,
the goblin
no
conjurer
wonder.
is sleeping on the ground. 8 down, 20 right.
Okay,
the
he's
goblin
no-
totem is resting in filthy hay. 1 down, 2 right.
I'm not-
The goblin totem shoots. You hit the goblin. You hit the
Ow.
goblin totem. Your Dark Master cuts the goblin. You hit the goblin totem. Your Dark Master slices the goblin. The goblin missed you. The goblin missed your Dark Master. The goblin totem casts a haste spell. You see a goblin. You hit the goblin totem. Your Dark Master defeated the goblin. The goblin missed you. The goblin skewers you. It is you, under light, health 40%. The floor is splattered. The goblin is standing in a stone wall, a pool of blood. It is you. The goblin is charging across the ground. The goblin is standing in a pile of rubble. 1 down, 1 right. Path is in 3.
Discord?
Good magic, a scroll of good magic, a scroll entitled good magic, a scroll entitled good magic, a scroll of evil magic, a staff of good magic, a staff of Discord. Direct a pool. The goblin is standing in a pile of rubble. 1 down, 1 right. Path is open.
Or
the goblin totem is resting in
we
filthy
get
hay.
him?
1
No.
down, 2 right. No open. The goblin is standing on the ground. 2 right. Path is open. The goblin cuts the goblin. The goblin skewers the goblin. Your Dark Master slashes the goblin totem. The goblin missed the goblin. The goblin totem shoots a spark. The spark hits the goblin.
Huh. Alright.
The goblin taps the goblin. The goblin missed the goblin. Your Dark Master destroyed the goblin totem.
Cool.
The goblin missed the goblin. Resting. It is a pool of blood. The goblin missed you. The goblin missed you. The goblin skewers the goblin. The goblin missed the goblin. Your Dark Master defeated the goblin. The goblin missed you. Your Dark Master defeated the goblin.
Alright. Wonder how his health is doing. I think
Your
he's
Dark Master
probably
is standing in
alright.
filthy hay. 1 down, 1 right. The goblin totem is resting on the ground. 5 down, 7 right. Path is visible. You see an acid mound.
Uh-oh.
The acid mound is sleeping in grass-like fungus. 16 down, 3 right. No visible path.
okay.
A scroll
It's
entitled
not a problem
Purpose
yet.
is lying on the ground. 4 down, 1 right.
Wow.
Your Dark Master is following you through filthy
in
hay.
all this
2
excitement,
down,
you forget
1
there
right.
was an
Path
ogre
is-
on
the
this
goblin
floor
totem is
still.
resting on the ground. 4 down, 4 right.
That's
You see a downward staircase.
not-
You see the goblin totem shoots a
Oh.
spark. The acid mound is sleeping in grass-like. The goblin conjurer is sleeping on the ground. A scroll entitled 100 and a downward step. A wooden door. Your Dark Master. The goblin totem is resting on the ground. 2 down, 2 right. Your Dark Master slices the goblin totem. You hit the goblin totem. Your Dark Master cuts the goblin totem.
What
The
woke
goblin
up?
is charging across the ground. 6 right. Path is
Oh, who
visible.
cares
The
about
goblin
him?
totem is you hit the goblin totem. Your Dark Master slashes the goblin totem. The goblin is charging across the ground. 5 right. The goblin conjurer is standing on the ground. 4 down, 13 right. Path is visible.
That's a problem.
A scroll entitled the 178 gold feet. The goblin conjurer. The goblin is charging up. The goblin totem is resting. Destroy the goblin totem. The goblin conjurer gestures ominously. You see a spectral blade. You see a spectral blade. The goblin is charging across the ground. It is a pool of blood. A puddle of urine. Filthy hay. Filthy hay. Your Dark Master is following you through a pile of rubble. 1 down, 1 right. The goblin is charging across the ground. 4 right. Path. The goblin conjurer is standing on the ground. 4 down, 13 right. Path is a scroll entitled
That
Purpose
scares
is
me.
lying on the ground. 1 down, 2 left. Path. You see an acid mound. You have a scroll entitled Purpose. Your Dark Master slices the goblin. The goblin cuts your Dark Master. Your dark blade. The goblin is standing in your dark blade master. Your dark blade master defeated the goblin. You see a spectral blade. You see a goblin totem. Your dark blade
Another
master is
one?
standing in a pool of blood. 1 up, 2 right, path is vid. The goblin totem is resting
Where
on the
did
ground.
that come
3
from?
up, 8 right, path is vid.
What?
178 gold pieces are lying on the ground. 8 right, path is vid. A downward staircase. 2 down, 3
Wow.
left. Path. Your dark blade master is standing in a pool of blood. 1 up, 2 right. Path. The goblin totem is resting on the ground. 3 up, 8 right.
See, but
path
now the
is
problem
visible.
is those spectral blades of that goblin conjurer are around somewhere.
It is the ground. A pile of filthy effects. The ground. You see a spectral blade.
Yep.
You see a spectral blade. You see a spectral blade. You see a spectral blade. You see a goblin conjurer. It's a pool of blood. The ground. A pile of rubble. Your dark blade master is following you through a pool
I'm
of
gonna-
blood. 3 right. Path it. The goblin
he's
conjurer
going
is
towards
standing
all
on the
that
ground.
stuff.
3 down. 10 right. Path is visible. It is you, the ground, a stone wall, a pile of a pool of blood. The spectral blade hits your dark blade master. Your dark blade master destroys the spectral blade. The spectral blade hits your dark blade master. You see a spectral blade. You see a goblin.
I don't know how his health's doing, so I'm gonna shoot him with a
A staff of discord.
a staff of healing.
Good magic, a evil magic, a staff of healing. Direct, a pool of your dark blade master. Your dark blade master looks healthier. Your dark blade master destroyed the spectral blade. You see a spectral blade. You see a spectral blade. You see a spectral blade.
This isn't
It is
going
a
good.
your dark, a pool of blood. The spectral blade hits your dark blade master. You see a spectral blade. You see a goblin. You see a goblin. Your dark blade master destroyed the spectral blade. The spectral blade missed your dark blade master. The spectral blade hits your dark blade master. You see a spectral blade. You see a spectral blade. You see a goblin totem. You see a goblin totem.
Wow.
Your dark blade master. The spectral blade is
This
hovering
is-
over the spectral blade hits you. The spectral blade hits you. You see a stone wall. It is your dark blade master. The spectral. You see the spectral blade. Your dark blade. The goblin conjurer is standing in a pool of blood. 1 right. Path is. You see the goblin conjurer. The spectral blade hits you. Your dark blade master destroyed the spectral blade. Your dark blade. The goblin is standing in a pool of it. The spectral blade. The spectral blade. The goblin is standing in a stone wall. It is you. A pool of blood. You destroyed the spectral blade. Your dark blade master destroyed the spectral blade. The spectral blade missed you. The goblin totem casts a haste spell. The goblin conjurer is standing in a pool of blood. 1 right. Path is visible. You hit the goblin conjurer. The spectral blade hits you. Your dark blade master destroyed the spectral blade. It is a pool of blood. The ground. The ground. The goblin is standing. A pool. The spectral blade. The goblin conjurer is fleeing across the ground.
Let's see. We'll hit him with Discord.
Good magic, a scroll entitled. Good magic, a scroll entitled. Evil magic, a good magic, a staff of discord. The goblin conjurer is fleeing across the ground.
Then his own
1
blades
down,
will stab
2
him, I
right,
think.
no open path.
No open path.
The spectral blade missed you. The goblin missed you. Your dark blade master destroyed the spectral blade. The goblin missed you. The goblin conjurer gestures ominously. You see a spectral blade. You see it is you. The goblin conjurer is the spectral. It is you. Under you defeated the goblin conjurer. The spectral blade dissipates into thin air. 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 The spectral blade
Crazy.
dissipates into thin air. The goblin missed you. The goblin missed your dark blade master. The goblin missed you. The goblin missed you. The goblin totem shoots a spark. The spark hits you. 20. It is you. Your dark blade. A stone wall. The goblin missed your dark blade master. The goblin missed your dark blade master. The goblin missed your dark blade master. Your dark blade master
Wow.
kills the goblin. The goblin missed your dark blade master. The goblin stabs your dark blade master. The goblin skewers your dark blade master. You see a monkey. The goblin is charging through
This
a pool
is
of blood.
crazy,
To right.
man.
It is a pool of the goblin. The goblin is standing on 97. The ground. The ground. A pool of. It is you. A stone wall. It is you. A pool. The goblin is the ground. A pool of your dark blade master. The goblin is standing on the ground. Inventory. Good magic, a scroll entitled. Good magic, a scroll a scroll entitled. Evil magic, a staff of healing. Good
We're
magic,
gonna
a staff
try
of discord. Good
conjuration,
magic,
see
a
if
staff
we've
of
got a charge
conjuration.
back yet.
The goblin is charged. The goblin missed your dark blade master. Your dark blade master slashes the goblin. The goblin missed your spectral blade. The goblin missed your dark blade master. The goblin missed your spectral blade.
Wow.
The goblin missed your spectral blade. Your teleportation charm has recharged.
Well, that's good, because I might need it.
Your spectral blade hits the goblin.
we're already
Your spectral
getting
blade hits
close
the goblin.
to
Your spectral blade hits the goblin.
hour
The goblin missed
again,
your
but
dark blade master. Your dark blade
gotta
master
try to
defeated
finish
the
this
goblin.
battle.
The goblin missed your spectral blade. The goblin destroyed your spectral blade. The goblin missed your spectral blade. The goblin totem shoots a spark. The spark destroys your spectral blade. The spark destroys your spectral blade. The spark hits you, resting. It is you, underlined.
Oh,
Health
no.
18%. The floor is splattered. It is a stone wall. A stone wall.
I gotta get out of here.
It is you, under a pool of the ground. Your dark blade master slices the goblin. Your spectral blade hits the goblin. The goblin missed your dark blade master. The goblin destroyed your spectral blade. The goblin missed your dark blade master.
wow.
The monkey is charging through a pool of blood.
No.
One left. Path is visible.
Oh no! Okay. You saved my life. I might lose that Darblade Master, as cool as that was to have him, but I gotta get out of here, or else I'm dead. Let's get out of here.
Magic at +2 not good magic at +3 teleportation.
Peace.
You hear combat in the distance. Remember the pool of blood was here. The Goblin Mystic is shackled in place in a puddle of vomit. 30 up, 5 left. Path is visible. A wooden door. 40 up. Sit. The Goblin Mystic. You hear combat in the distance.
I should...
You hear combat resting. 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 Your Darblade Master is following you through withered fungus. 1 up.
How did
10
he
left.
do
The
that?
Goblin Mystic is shackled in place in a puddle of vomit. 30 up, 4 left. You see an acid mound. The acid mound is sleeping in grass-like fungus. 6 up, 23 right. Path is visible. A wooden door. 40 up, 4 left. The Goblin Mystic is shackled in place in a puddle of vomit. 30
So
up,
there's nothing
3 left.
up there
You hear combat in the
guarding
distance. You hear
him?
combat in. You hear something die in combat. You hear combat in the distance. You hear combat in the distance. Your Darblade Master defeated. Your Darblade Master is standing in withered fungus. 5 up, 2 left. Your Darblade Master is standing. Your Darblade Master is standing in withered fungus. 5 up. Your Darblade. An upward staircase. 1 up, 2 right. Path is vid. You ascend.
We're gonna go back up here and rest.
The toad is wandering through shallow water.
Wow.
9 up, 18 right. Path is visible. You see a toad. Remember shallow water. What your Darblade Master is standing on. The toad is wandering through an open door.
This
1 down, 3 left. Path is visible.
Is...
A scroll entitled Canary is lying in a pool of blood. 1 down, 5 left. Path is with a downward staircase. 2 down, 1. A scroll
How
entitled
did I miss a
Canary is lying in a
scroll?
pool of blood. 1 down, 5 left. Path is visible.
That's
A
interesting.
downward staircase. 2 down, 1 left. Path is
Can
visible.
scrolls respawn on...
Resting. Your Darblade. The toad is wandering through a pool of blood. 1 down, 2 left. The toad slams your Darblade Master. Resting. Your Darblade. The toad is standing in a pool of blood. 1 down, 2 left. It is a pool of blood. Your Darblade Master is following you through a pool of blood.
That's interesting.
Your Darblade Master raises the toad. The toad missed you. Your Darblade. The toad. You hit the toad. Your
Oh,
Darblade
we
Master
hallucinate.
slices the toad. The toad slams you. You begin to hallucinate. 40% health. A wooden door. The explosive bloat is standing in a pool of green blood. 1 down, 1 left. You defeated the Phoenix head.
Well, we have to rest anyway, but... Real quick.
The ogre is a wooden door. 1 down, 1 left. Path is visible. The ogre totem. A gold piece is lying in a pool of blood. 2 left. Path is visible. Your path is to fall to pick up a scroll entitled Canary. Inventory wearing some food. No match. Good match.
We're gonna drop this flail.
Required. You now have 2 scrolls entitled Canary. You dropped a flail. 17. A wooden door. A downward staircase. 1 down.
Wow.
1 right. Path
This
is
has
visible.
been
It is a pool of a downward staircase.
Quite the adventure here.
Your hallucinations fade. It is you, under light, health 42%. The floor is, you see a kobold. It is you, under light, health 54%. The floor is flattened. Your Darblade Master is standing
Man,
in a
I
pool
just
of
wanted
blood.
to get
2
some
right.
health.
Path is fit. The kobold is wandering through shallow
That's
water.
all.
2 up, 17 right. The kobold passes your Darblade Master. Shallow water. Your Darblade Master defeated the kobold. Resting. It is you, under light, health
Wow.
58%. The floor is splattered with blood.
I know it's dangerous to rest for much longer, but...
Your teleportation charm has recharged. It is you, under light, health 68%.
Wow,
The floor is
that's
splattered
just
with
gonna
blood.
have to do.
You descend. Exploring, you see a pink jelly. Your Darblade Master is following you through
We're never
withered
gonna
fungus.
finish this
3
floor.
down, path is visible. The pink
This is
jelly
the
is wandering
craziest
through
thing I've
grass-like
ever seen.
fungus. 7 down, 10 left. Path is exploring, you see a monkey. The monkey is wandering across the ground. 5 up, 3 right. Path is visible. Your Darblade Master is on a wooden door.
This
1
is
down,
crazy,
4 right.
man.
Path is the monkey is wandering across the ground. 5 up, exploring something missed your Darblade Master. The monkey is wandering through a pool of blood. 3 up, 2 right. Path is visible. It is a chasm. It is you, a pool of the brink of a chasm. The monkey is charging across the brink of a chasm. 1 up. Path is visible. You hit the monkey. The monkey missed you. You hear something die in combat. You hear combat in the distance. You hit the monkey. The monkey punches you. The monkey stole a staff of conjuration. You hit the
Oh,
monkey
I
is standing on
don't
the brink
think
of a
so.
chasm. 1 up.
He stole
Path
the
is
one
visible.
thing-
You hit the monkey. The monkey is bleeding through a pool of blood. 2 up. 1
Oh,
right.
no.
Path is visible.
Beckoning is the only option.
A staff of pistol, good magic, a wand of beckoning used once. Direction, the monkey is bleeding through a pool of blood. 2 up, 1 right, path is open.
Get back here.
The monkey is fleeing across the brink of a chasm. 1 up, you defeated the monkey.
Steal my
You have a
stuff.
staff of conjuration /3. Exploring, you see a goblin. Your Darblade Master is following you across the ground. 1 down, 9 left. Path, the goblin is wandering across the
So
ground.
is he going
8
toward
down,
him?
19 right. Exploring, you see an acid mound. You see an acid mound. Your
Holy
Darblade Master with the acid mound
cow.
is sleeping in grass like fungus. 17 down, 3 right. Exploring, you see a goblin. The Goblin is wandering across the ground.
What just
3
saw
down,
me?
8 right. Your Darkblade Master is following you across the ground. 3 up, 9 left. The acid mound is charging through grass like fungus.
whoa.
12 down, 1 left. Path is visible. 97 gold pieces are lying in a pool of blood. 2 down, 6 right. Path is visible. It is a pile of filth. The ground. A stone wall. A stone wall. The ground. The ground.
I just...
Your Darkblade, the acid mound is charging through grass like fungus. 12 down, 1 left. Path a downward staircase. 5 down, resting. Your Darkblade, the acid mound is charging across the brink of a chasm. 10 down, 1 left. Path is visible. Inventory.
Can we hit him with conjuration?
A scroll and type evil good. A staff of discord. Good magic.
Might
A
as
staff
well.
good magic. A wand of beckoning. Good magic. A staff of conjuration. Class slash.
Pull out all the
Dimension.
stops
The acid
to
mound is
survive
charging
in this
across the
game.
brink of a chasm. 10 down, 1 left. Path is open.
All's fair in love and
The acid
war.
mound destroyed something. Your Darkblade hits the acid mound. Something hits the acid mound. Something hits the acid mound. The acid mound destroyed something. Resting. Your Darkblade hits the acid mound. Something hits the acid mound. The acid mound destroyed something. Resting. Your spectral blade hits the acid mound. The acid mound destroyed your spectral blade.
We've been on this
Resting.
floor for
Resting.
far too
Your
long.
Darkblade Master is the acid mound is charging across the brink of a chasm. 9 down,
This is
1 left.
just
Path is visible.
nuts.
Exploring, you see a goblin. Your Darkblade Master is following you across the ground. 2 down, 4 left. The acid mound is charging across the ground. 4 down, 3 left. Path is the acid mound houses your Darkblade Master. Resting. Your Darkblade Master raises the acid mound. The acid mound missed your Darkblade Master. You see a goblin. Your Darkblade Master defeated the acid mound. Resting. Your Darkblade Master is standing on the acid-flecked ground.
Wonder
3
how his
down,
health
4
is.
left. Path is visible.
I'll give it a...
Exploring, you see a goblin totem. You see a goblin totem.
cow.
Your Darkblade Master, the goblin totem is resting on the ground. 2 up, 5 right. The goblin totem is resting on the ground. 5 down, 8 right. Path, the goblin is wandering across the ground. 4 down,
Is he the
9
only
right.
one left?
The goblin is wandering across the ground.
No.
5 down, 11 right. Path is visible. 97 gold pieces are lying. 178 a downward
There's a lot of
staircase.
money here.
3
There
down,
better be
6
after
left.
all this.
Inventory.
I wonder if we can cast Discord on that further
Evil
away
magic,
one,
a
and
staff
then
of
those
healing,
goblins
apply,
will attack
good
it.
magic, a staff of discord, a staff of direct. The goblin totem is resting on the ground.
get it?
5 down, 8 right, no open path.
Nope.
Your Darkblade Master, the goblin totem is resting on the ground. 2 up, 5 right, path is visible.
I wonder if we could use beckoning on that,
It is a stone wall. It is a pool of blood. A pool of blood.
on the goblin totem. That'd be
Inventory.
interesting. Should I try it?
Good magic, a staff of conjuration.
Should I
Good
save?
magic, a wand of beckoning used twice. Apply, drop. Good magic, a staff of conjuration. Class slash, apply, direction. The goblin totem is resting on the ground. 2 up, 5 right, path is open. The goblin totem is resting on the
I
ground.
wanna try to get
5
these
down,
other
8
goblins
right,
while-
no open path.
So that they can
The
be
goblin is
distracted.
wandering across the ground. 4 down, 9 right, path is open.
There we go.
The goblin destroyed your spectral blade. The goblin totem shoots a spark. The spark hits you. Your Darkblade, the goblin totem is resting on the ground. 2 up, 5. Something hits the goblin totem. Your spectral blade hits the goblin. Your spectral blade hits the goblin.
Ouch.
The goblin totem shoots a spark. The spark hits you. Something hits the goblin totem. Your spectral blade hits the goblin. Your spectral blade hits the goblin. The goblin destroyed your spectral blade. The goblin destroyed your spectral blade.
Ooh.
Your spectral blade hits the goblin totem. Your spectral blade hits the goblin. The goblin totem shoots a spark. The spark destroys your spectral blade. You hit the goblin totem. You hit the goblin totem.
Ow.
The goblin totem shoot. You hit the goblin. You hit the goblin
Die.
totem. You hit the goblin totem. You hit the goblin totem. The goblin missed you. Your Darkblade Master defeated the goblin. The goblin missed you. Your Darkblade Master. The goblin totem is resting in a pile of rubble. 6 down, 4 right, 97, 100 and a downward step. The goblin is standing in a pool of blood. 1 down, path is visible. The goblin totem is resting. You hit the goblin totem. Your Darkblade Master blinks. You hit the goblin totem. The goblin missed you. You hit the goblin totem. Your
Holy
Darkblade
crap.
Master blinks. The goblin stabs you. The goblin totem shoots a spark. The spark hits you. It is you. Health 40%. The goblin is stand the ground. A pool of blood. A pile of rub. A pool of blood. It is you. The goblin is a pool of blood. A pool of blood. The goblin is stab. You missed the goblin. The goblin missed you. You missed the goblin. The goblin stabs you. 40% health. You missed the goblin. Your Darkblade Master defeated the goblin. Your dark blade
we
master.
do it?
The goblin totem is resting in a pile of rubble.
Not yet.
6 down. 4 right. Path 97 gold.
And I need
It
to
is
get
you.
out of
A
here
duel of blood.
before he...
A stone wall. A stone wall. A stone plank. A stone the drop. A stone wall. The drop. A pile of rubble. Your dark blade master slices the goblin totem.
Get him.
It is you, under light, health, a heart is something. Rest,
Okay.
97 gold pieces are like your dark blade master is standing in a pool of blood. 1 up, path is visible. 97 gold pieces are lying in a pool. Inventory.
Let's give him healing.
Evil magic, a staff of healing. Your dark blade master looks healthier. Your dark blade master
go
is standing
get
in a
that
pool of
thing.
blood. 1 up, path is resting. Your dark blade master is following you. It a pool of it is a stone wall, a stone, the ground. Your dark blade, the goblin totem is resting in a pile of rubble. 4 down, 6 right. Path is
Just
visible.
light it on fire.
In 3. Good magic, a scroll entitled. Good
The
magic,
blades might
good
work
magic,
if
a scroll entitled.
since it's like,
Evil magic, a staff of healing.
inanimate,
Good magic, a staff of discord.
it
A
might
staff of discord.
actually
Apply.
work.
The goblin totem is
trying to
resting in a
finish
pile of
this
rubble. 4 down, 6
off.
right. Path is open. The goblin totem shoots as
Whoa.
hard. As hard hits you. It is a pool of blood.
What, they
Your
won't
dark
get
blade
it?
master is following you across the ground. 1 down, 2 right. Path is visible. It is you, under
Okay,
light,
then.
health 36%, rest, you resting.
Whoa.
97 gold pieces are lying in a pool
Will it
of
tell
blood.
me what I
For
just
last
heard or
message,
no?
the spark hits you. Last message,
No.
97, resting, 97, 107, it is a pool of blood. 97
Is it
gold,
gone?
you found 97, 100,
It's
you
gone.
hear something die in combat. You
Oh.
found 178, exploring, you see an acid mound. Your dark blade master is following
Oh,
you across the
man.
ground. 4 down, path is
We
visible.
did it.
The acid mound is sleeping on the ground. 5 down, 1 left,
But then
path
there's
is
still
visible.
that thing.
Resting. Your dark blade master is following you across
Oh,
the
man.
ground. 5 down, path is the
he
acid
gonna-
mound is sleeping on the ground. 5 down, 1
Get him.
left. Your dark blade master
Yes.
is the acid mound in its sleep. Resting.
Yes. Whew.
It is you, health 42%.
Let's rest a little. Okay. Ooh, we got
It
full
is
health.
you, health 100%.
Cool. Awesome. Well. Oh my, what a battle that was. I don't even know how long this video is. I completely lost track. That was Goblin Warfare. That was Discord and Mayhem. Wow. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there, and we will hopefully finish Depth 7 when we come back. I can't imagine there's much more left to explore, and I don't know whatever became of the ogre that was here. Maybe he died. That would be nice. And there's still that goblin mystic to go try to rescue unless it died. So we will come back. We will try to pick up the pieces and figure everything else out. Until then, I'll see you everybody in the next video.